Let's get on to Group E action. Yes, the earlier kickoff today saw Salzburg, who were undefeated going into this match day 5 against Chelsea. They got off to a great start. Mateo Kovacic with the opening goal 23 minutes into the game. But at the end of the day, it was a really good result from Chelsea. And it looked like it was a convincing victory for them as well, Nigel.
I don't know if I would call it convincing, if I'm honest, and I just still feel, for me personally, there's still questions about this Chelsea team. I know Graham Potter's just got in there. He's going to have time. It's going to take time and patience for him to get it where he wants it to be. But for me, still, I'm just still not convinced. I don't know what the other guys think. It's a win that they needed, and they know they had to win this game today to get themselves into the next stages. But I wouldn't say that Chelsea are a team that I look to see go into the latter stages of this competition. I think they're pretty much getting close to their ceiling.
Put their two best players in this team, though, and I think they become a lot better.
He got an assist today.
He did. It was actually, and it wasn't one of those it was an amazing goal by Havertz, but it also wasn't one of those.
I'd call it an assist. He just passed the ball to Hazard, which is what he's supposed to do.
Before that, there was a really good dribble. He draws
passed
three people.
The ball to Hazard, who done the rest. It's not. I don't understand how that counts as an assist.
I think when you're sort of saying and I agree with Nigel, they don't quite look there yet. I think if you added Kante to that midfield, which feels a bit like it's a bit too slow. And if you added Reece James on the right flank,
let's be realistic about Conte. Yes,
we're never gonna.
I don't think he'll ever be back to that level. Not for France, not for Chelsea.
No, I completely agree with that, and that's the existential issue for Chelsea. Is that the guy that is the cornerstone of this club, this team, is never going to play at that level again, and may well, for all we know, he's not going to be back till February at the moment. We don't know how many more games he's going to play for them. Reece James balances that team out magnificently. I know we were talking about him on the preview as well, and I can't.
What is it about Reece James that you love so much? I mean, all of our viewers out there,
Arsenal might be interested in him or something.
What is going on?
Arsenal might be
he does
interested
everything. He does his crossing.
Best right back in the Premier League.
Best right back
Are we
in the
going to
Premier
see
League.
you dye your hair green?
I would love to. I'd love to. I loved his look, his green head look. Best right back in the Premier League, but also the best attacking right back and the best defensive right back.
Let us know what you think in the comments as well. Do you agree with that? Do you think he is the best right back, Reece James, here?
Trippier has a point to prove there. Trippier's up there. Now, England is very talented with right back. You can't say a fit Kyle Walker can't do the same thing as Reece James does. Kyle Walker is there as well. Head and shoulders, same height, everything.
I think the argument that the three best right backs in the world are English is I would say the three best are English. Maybe even four. Maybe put Trippier in there.
I'll be careful about saying that around the world there. But anyway.
Well, I can certainly admit to you right now, After Hours House of Champions has already begun with some of the comments that are coming out right now. So Kovacic scoring his first competitive goal since January, opened the scoring for Chelsea. Kai Havertz rounded things off in the 64th minute. Third goal across all competitions. His first Champions League goal of this season. Fantastic player, Kai Havertz. But I guess really, is Graham Potter getting the best from these players? I mean, because Graham Potter, since he's taken over, has not lost a game, 9 games, 16 goals scored, 5 clean sheets, defensively much better, but offensively starting to get them ticking again, JJ.
I wouldn't say he's necessarily getting the best out of them yet, but he's getting a reaction from them, and that's normal when a new manager comes in. Everybody, especially in a squad full of talent like Chelsea's is, they're always going to want to show their best, show what they can do. Havertz obviously took his opportunity today with a fantastic finish, but I still think that once Potter finds that combination or one of a couple of combinations that he thinks is most likely to be his strongest 11 moving forward, those players are going to have to show a bit of consistency. Obviously, they're not able to at the moment because he's chopping and changing so much. But when Potter starts to find a bit of consistency with his selections, that's when the pressure is going to be on for the likes of Havertz to deliver sort of game in, game out. And when he can do that, then I think we can then say that Potter is starting to get the best out of these players generally.
Can we talk about Aubameyang? 2 big misses.
Yeah.
And I mean, the trade-off is, and the issue he was starting to have was he wasn't even getting in a position, especially in his late days at Arsenal, but even the last few weeks at Chelsea, he wasn't getting in the position to miss them, which is when you really worry, isn't it, as a striker? But the goals are... It just doesn't feel like he's quite at the level of a Champions League winning striker because the point is he's not giving you anything except goals. He doesn't press. He's not a great link-up guy. You'll see the odd flick, but a lot of them don't come off. Yeah. So if you're playing Aubameyang, he needs to be a player that whenever those chances come his way, he takes the vast majority of them. this game would have been a lot more comfortable
But
for Chelsea if he was putting those balls in the net.
It goes to say, James, just what I've said before about Aubameyang. I don't see him as a clinical striker. I don't see him as that striker that's
No,
going to take your club.
He
to
has
that
been
next...
known, Nigel. If you think of his time at Borussia Dortmund, also
I
since
understand
Etienne,
that,
he was
but
banging in the goals, man.
I don't see
Even
it.
at
Since
Arsenal,
I've been there.
I think
Golden
the
Boot
But
season.
he was
the
getting.
thing to remember about Aubameyang as well is he didn't start out as a striker. He's not always been a striker. He's been a wide player who learned how to put the ball in the back of the net, did it very effectively for a period of time. But I've never been convinced that he is a true predator in front of goal.
And
No, I
that's
think
the point I would like to jump on, and I agree to that. Because again, for me, I think that there's moments when you look at the chances he had today, that should have been in the back of the net. But then you can tell a lot by a football player, by the body language and the facial expression. There doesn't seem to be that hunger and desire and that anger there that I missed that chance. I should have got my goal to be happy. It's kind of like he missed the opportunity and he was like, oh, okay. And that's what I've seen in him the whole time. Even his time at Arsenal, after he signed that big contract, he was very laid back and lethargic. He didn't really care about not scoring goals, and he seemed to be okay with it. Maybe it might hurt him, but you can always tell the football player in their facial expression, everything about them, how they present themselves on the pitch. You can see that desire. You can't hide that as a player.
Something he, I know a lot of people who know from every side who've got to know Aubameyang well, and a lot of them would deny that something went, but you could see on the pitch something went after that Arsenal contract. And the thing is, I agree with everything
He's
you've all
retired
said.
internationally as well. Since.
Yeah, he used to miss loads and score loads, and I think both have gone down in quantity, and that's that is the worry. If you look at it from an expected goals thing, he was always at or about his expected goals. The very best strikers tend to slightly outperform. He never did, but he was getting so many shots, it wasn't an issue. He's not getting a huge number at Chelsea, and when the good ones come, he's not taking 50% of them. He's taking 25% of them. It's a worry.
Well, it is a big win for Chelsea. They move up to 10 points and obviously make themselves through into the qualification to the knockouts right now. Let's talk about AC Milan. They got a massive victory against Dinamo Zagreb in the other game in the group. It also sets up a mouth-watering match day 6 tie. They play Salzburg at home on match day 6. Both teams sitting within a point of each other. Milan on 7, Salzburg on the 6 points. Makes it very interesting now.
It makes it a fantastic watch. What a game we should be in for. I mean, we all look actually quite silly because we did say how it would be a difficult game for AC Milan, difficult place to go and get the win. And AC Milan made it look very easy and very convincing today. But that was the performance that I expected from them. I backed AC Milan to get the win there today. And I'm sure a lot of you guys also did too. Very dominant performance. I think when you look at that performance today, it seems like they've come off the hang-up of the 2 performances they put back-to-back against Chelsea, where they knew it wasn't quite good enough, and there was, I don't know,
was it quite good enough? I mean, it was nowhere
it was
near
horrendous,
good enough.
the 2 performances against Chelsea, and I think this basically lets it be put to bed now. And I think for the last game against Leipzig, Salzburg, it's going to be a fascinating encounter. And I would say, for me, I'll give the edge to AC Milan to get that job done.
What do you guys think about Milan this season? I mean, if you think about it all along, just trying to get through to the knockout stages for Italian teams, it would be considered a success. Salzburg have made this group really interesting now, but Milan getting that massive victory today has put them right back in the hunt, and obviously they have the advantage now, James.
And this was another one of those Rafael Leao games, and they're becoming more frequent.
What a player.
I think he still has a little weight. I think one of the things you can see is all of the raw attributes are there, and that this season, he has started to really learn how he can exploit all the qualities he has. And also, the pressure, the aura of Leao. I mean, it was a dreadful mistake, wasn't it, for that goal he scored by the Dinamo defence.
Yep.
But I do wonder, he has now sort of graduated to that level where his presence around defenders makes them make mistakes because they are worried. They are skittish and nervous. He is coming on leaps and bounds. And we have to say, it's happened really quickly.
Special mention, though, for that opening goal as well. Fantastic delivery from Tonali. Yeah. Brilliant headed finish by Gabbia. If Milan don't score that goal and go in at the break level, suddenly it could be a completely different game. They took the advantage early in the second half, getting that crucial second goal. And from there on, it was a lot easier. But I still think there was a little bit of the jitters there.
But JJ, Milan have always, most of the games you've seen them in, they've always had good opportunities in every game. Even Chelsea, they just haven't been clinical in certain games to take those opportunities. So I feel that that's something that they've got. You'd be more worried about Milan if they weren't getting those opportunities, if they weren't creating those good chances to get goals. But they do, and it's just some days it goes in for them and some days it doesn't. And when it does go in and everything's flowing in, they can be a very dangerous and tough team to beat.
And they're 22, 23, 24. They're at the age where you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn from them.
Yeah.
And we see that. We saw how much more authoritative they were on a really tough stadium. And I think that's the thing that inspires quite a lot of confidence in me. Equally, it does mean that when we come to look at that Salzburg game, I mean, Salzburg are the same. They're another team full of kids. But it's going to be a tough experience for Milan. It will help them that they were a team that, this young team closed out quite comfortably the Serie A title, and they need that mentality all over again in the San Siro. I mean, and it does make you really optimistic, not just for what they can do in the round of 16, but what they could do if they can keep this team together in 2, 3, 4 years' time.